Nowadays, drawer slides can be unnecessary. I'm going to show you how to build drawers 3 different ways, 2 of which do not use drawer slides, saving quite a bit of money. And I'm going to save you money on something else as well. This method is awesome for shop projects and if you want to just work less, which I enjoy doing whenever possible. If you're wondering what type of plywood this is birch plywood, and you can tell that it's birch because of the way it is. After cutting all the pieces to their final dimensions, I'm marking exactly where the rabbets need to be on the front and back pieces, and that is how this drawer is going to be held together. I'll be cutting these rabbets half the thickness of the plywood and just using my regular blade and a crosscut sled. I may have fibbed a little bit at the beginning when I said that 2 of the drawers don't use slides because one of those slideless drawers does not use your typical metal drawer slides, and I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm measuring the exact thickness of the rabbets and measuring the inside of the drawer opening so I can cut the drawer sides to the exact lengths that they need to be. For the drawer bottom, I'll be using 1/4 inch plywood, and I'm cutting a dado near the bottom of all the drawer pieces to accept that plywood bottom. And now I'm just realizing I've said bottom a lot in a very short amount of time. To permanently secure this drawer together, I'm just using glue on the rabbets, and since there's so much glue surface on rabbets, that's all that's needed, and it's really strong. And I'm not using any glue on the dados to secure the bottom. There I go with the bottom talk again, because it's just not needed. These drawers are for my king-size miter saw station, which I have plans for, and as I'll explain later in this video, making plans does not always work out. And this drawer is pretty much done. This is a great, simple way to build drawers, but if you want to step your drawer game up a little bit, let's see what's behind drawer number 2. Yes, these drawers are pretty dang great, but I'm going to give you a tip on how to make them a little nicer in case you want to put them in your house. This is going to be pretty crazy, so you may want to sit down. We're going to turn this drawer 90 degrees. Instead of cutting the rabbets on the front and back, you'll cut the rabbets actually on the side pieces, and that will hide the plywood edges on the side when you pull out the drawer. You can also add ball bearing drawer slides too if you want. Did I just give you a 4th way to make drawers? You're gosh darn right I did. Sometimes when using pocket holes, your pieces can shift, and the way around that is to use parallel clamps like I'm using here, which worked swimmingly. No dados, no rabbets, just butt joints and pocket hole screws, and the bottom will end up being the drawer slide. I'm lining up the middle of the drawer box with the middle of the drawer bottom, and then securing them together using screws and glue. Now, if you have a lot of drawers to build, you will end up saving oodles of money by not having to buy the normal drawer slides. But with this type of drawer, there are some problems. But don't worry, you're worried, don't be worried. I have solutions. Because there's more friction with this drawer slide system, you could potentially have a tougher time opening the drawers. And another problem is there's no stop with these drawers, so if you're not careful, you could pull the drawer all the way out. But before I get to those solutions, I want to explain the glue strategy that I'm using here. I'm using traditional wood glue, but the clear glue I'm using is CA glue, and the spray is accelerator spray, which makes the CA glue dry within about 20 or 30 seconds, and that acts as a clamp for the wood glue. What you just saw me do was make the drawer slots for the drawer bottom to slide into, and the spacers at the front of the drawer opening is for the drawer face. Okay, this is one of my absolute favorite tricks for installing the drawer face. I'm using playing cards so that I get an even reveal around all sides. I'm just making sure that the screws I use to attach the drawer front to the drawer face are in the exact same locations that the screws for the drawer handle will be, so there will be no visible holes when this is all done. When buying birch plywood, there's generally a clear side and then a side with more knots and streaks that's a little wilder. And since I'm a wild and crazy guy, I'll generally use that more unique side, and I think it gives my project a lot of character. Now these plywood drawer slides don't have a lot of friction on them now, but if you put a bunch of stuff in the drawers, they could be a little tougher to use. No big deal, super easy solution. All we need is a little paste wax. Put a little of this paste wax, this brand is Howard, onto the drawer slides, and it'll be really, really easy to pull out. Another issue is there's no catch on these drawers, so you can pull them all the way out, but to fix that, all you need to do is use tip number 7 from my last video. If that doesn't work for you, Michael Alm has a great tip in one of his videos, and I'll link that right here. But he extends the plywood sides on the drawer past the back piece, and that really helps not pull the drawer all the way out. I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, FlexiSpot. This is the E7L standing desk, and I chose the black base with the black top because I'm cool and mysterious. It's all digital and has a really nice touch screen for raising and lowering the desk. And an awesome component is that it has presets so you can set the height you want the desk to be when you're standing and the height you want the desk to be when you're sitting. So all you have to do is press one button to get to that correct height. Now I'm not quite there yet, but this desk has a max weight capacity of 330 pounds. And L-shaped standing desks are great if you have back pain from your seated desks, if you want to move more, or if you have multiple screens. The frame is literally made out of automotive grade steel with thick legs, so it's real sturdy. And I love how big the tabletop is. It has room for all the stuff I need to use when I work. FlexiSpot has this desk set at a very reasonable price, but wait, there's more. They have a 15-year warranty and free returns in 30 days. Assembling the desk was pretty dang easy with the comprehensive instructions that they give you, and it didn't take too long either. And if you need a little extra help, they do have a tutorial video on how to assemble this desk on YouTube. All right, it's about that time. Let's get back to some woodworking. Okay, let's save you some money. Using this technique that you're about to see will allow you to not always have to buy drawer pulls or handles. I'm securing some scrap pieces of plywood using double-sided tape to my drawer face, and then using my router and a straight cut bit, I'm cutting in the drawer pulls so no hardware is needed. The drawer pulls that I use cost $10 a piece, and I just counted and I've used 10 of those drawer pulls on shop furniture, which means if my math is correct, and it always is, I've spent about $1,000 on drawer pulls alone. You don't even have to use a router like I'm using here. You can use a jigsaw, or I've seen people use a bandsaw. I'm just using the router because I feel it gives a nice clean cut, and I actually really like the look of the rounded corners. Here's what I meant when I said earlier that making plans doesn't always work out. I spent a lot of time designing this double-sided cart that these drawer faces are for, and I think it's really cool, but it has been my worst selling plan ever. But you live and you learn. That's actually a phrase I just made up, and I hope it catches on. For the final drawer, I am using standard ball bearing drawer slides, and to measure the exact width that the drawer front and back need to be, I'm using the drawer slides and 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood as spacers. To put this drawer together, I'm just using butt joints with wood glue and trim head screws. And I like using trim head screws because the head is very, very small. But if you did not want that to show, you could always recess the screws and then hide them with dowels. I like to use a plug cutter like this so my plugs can match the grain of my project. In case you weren't counting, I've used the words butt or bottom a total of 15 times so far in this video. Just thought I'd let you know. I made the drawer front a little narrower than the rest of the drawer pieces so I could slide in the drawer bottom, 16. Okay, I am begging you, do not make the same mistake I did when installing these drawers. Before I permanently secured the drawer boxes together with glue and screws, I should have tested them out to make sure that they would fit correctly with the drawer slides. I mean, why would I do that? That would have been way too smart. Instead, I went with my original measurement, which I assumed was perfect, and as you'll see in a second, these drawers didn't slide in as smooth and scrumptiously as I expected them to. The top one slid in okay, but the bottom one was a little tight. It was actually so tight I ended up breaking one of the drawer slides and had to order more. And here is some footage of that for your entertainment. To fix this issue, I took the drawer slides off of the drawer box and then created a recess with my router. Okay, here comes the best part. The snapping you're about to hear is the actual breaking of the drawer slide. There are a lot of different ways to make drawers, not just 3 or 4. So let me know in the comments if you want me to make another video on drawer making. Whether you're going to use slides or not ultimately depends on your budget, time, and what the drawers are going to be used for. And remember to be kind and be awesome. Oh, hey again. Just thought I'd check in and say hi. And I have a promo code for you for the E7L standing desk that I don't know why I pointed that way, that I talked about earlier in the video. But before I get to the code, I want to let you know FlexiSpot has all kinds of standing desks and ergonomic chairs to fit your needs. You should also check out the E7 Plus standing desk with 4-leg design because it looks pretty dang awesome. Okay, the promo code is YTE7P50. If you use that code buying the desk that I talked about earlier in the video, you'll get $50 off that desk. Again, be kind and be awesome, and bye for real now.